In this Sailing Doodles, we install some new equipment on the boat as we get it ready for a 1,500-mile sail from the U.S. Virgin Islands back to the mainland. This season of Sailing Doodles features Bobby, Taylor, and Punky as we set sail for the Caribbean. In the previous video, we explored the island of St. John and then headed back to St. Thomas, where we got some boat parts. Hey guys, before this one kicks off, I want to thank our patrons so much for making this channel possible. We could not do this without you. So I'm doing my best to give back to our patrons by giving them lots of cool stuff. Our patrons get early access to videos and exclusive access to patron-only videos detailing what's going on in real time. Patrons get access to our live tracker. They get great discounts on merchandise and exclusive access to the patron-only Facebook group for Sailing Doodles. Some tiers of patrons get access to our monthly Zoom chats and a personalized welcome on board video. So thanks again to all of you guys for watching, and thanks for our patrons for making this channel possible. Let's get back to the show. One of the reasons we came to the marina today is we are going to do some upgrades on the boat because we're going to do a long offshore passage in about 3 weeks. Oh, it is about 3 weeks now. You know, it'll be 8 to 10 days, and we kind of want to get some better equipment than we have on board. We're going to change our chart plotter, redone some solar, going to add some equipment to that. And we got like a satellite system. It's not like, it's like Iridium Go, right? Iridium Go is very slow, but it will let you send email and you can get weather on it and contact anybody and phone calls and stuff. So we're going to do that. One of the other things we decided to do is upgrade our audio VHF radios and such. So with Icom here, we got some really cool stuff. I'm pretty excited about it. We have their new base station. It's the IMC 506 Plus. Really cool. We're going to install that downstairs here. Icom's they've been around forever. It's a really good company. That's the radios I had on my last boat. I would recommend Icom. There's a link to the show notes in this if you would like to check it out. And then also a command mic, which basically this goes out into the cockpit and it just controls this main radio. So that way we can have radio inside and out, because our old radios, you can see here, they're the Garmin version and they're just, I mean, maybe it's aesthetics, but look at it. There's crap all over the floor because these things keep breaking off. So we're gonna replace these with Icom. Should be a nice little upgrade. So this should be a pretty easy swap out. This is the old Garmin one. You just got these, network connections and antennas, and you got your power. Basically, I just pull this one out, put the other one in, and plug it in. Should be good to go. I mean, that easy. All right, that's easy. Get all those connections done, and then just gotta pop the front off of this to pull the mounting plate screws off. Then easy. There you go. Simple enough getting that out. Maybe not so simple. This unit is just a touch taller, so I'm gonna have to cut my little planking here. So this is why you need a full set of power tools on your boat and a very good looking assistant. So you will hold this. You are a magician's assistant. And I cut. Be careful. Well, now I need to drill. Now I need to drill a hole just so I can start that cut. So hang on 1 second. All right, let's do a test fit before I dismiss my assistant. There you go. Perfect. I can snug it in there. Good to go. Now we got a mess to clean up, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now I know it looks like he does all the work, but I usually help with the cleanup.
All right, now I just got to reconnect all the connections here. You got your command mic connection, you got your network connection, you got antenna, all that stuff. It does have different electrical connections than our wired. It's just 6 to 1, half dozen the other. So I just got to adjust the wire connections. No big deal. Get yourself a good set of strippers. I mean, having these things.
You really need a good set of strippers on a boat. It's essential.
Yeah, you need a good set of strippers on a boat. So now I'm just entering the MMSI number, so when you're doing an emergency broadcast and stuff, it knows what to send. Now, hang that up. So just button up the rest of this, should be good to go. So the only little snafu I've hit is that the command mic for Garmin and Icom, they use different cabling, right? So there's a cable that runs from here all the way to the cockpit in the back for the Garmin mic, and they're not compatible, right? So this Icom won't plug into that Garmin one. And I do have a 20-foot long new cable to run, but the problem is it's more than 20 feet from here back there. Probably a lot of boats wouldn't be an issue, ours it is. So all I've had to do is I've just ordered an extension cable, be here in like 5 days. But I'll go ahead and like run the cabling as far as I can, so then I just finish it later on. And then I'll install the command mic in the cockpit. That one's supposed to... There we go. We are installed. New radio. Works like a charm. Are you twerking in front of the camera?
No. You gotta work it and twerk it. Come on, let's see it, Bobby. Give your best shot for the camera. Your butt's not in frame.
I know, no.
Turn.
That's terrible.
Come on.
Nobody wants to watch me twerk.
I did it. You gotta do it.
Nobody wants to watch me twerk. Another thing that I've got that we're gonna install today, we've added solar. So we added about 400 watts of solar. Our old charge controller only can handle 45 amps of charging, which is, you know, somewhere around 600 watts of solar. So now we have like 900 watts of solar. So we upgraded, we have to upgrade our charge controller from the 45 amp version to the 60 amp version. It's basically plug and play. The old one's sitting right under the steps over there. I unplug everything out of that, plug this one in. We got the controller already, it'll take it, should be good to go. And also, since we're upgrading the amperage, so that's a 50 amp breaker. You know, I have 45 amp charger, 50 amp breaker. So I have a 70 amp breaker for the 60 amps, so I gotta change that too. So it should be a pretty easy swap. Unfortunately, where this thing is gonna live is in a very uncomfortable position to work with. And I'm not talking about the box of a Volkswagen. I already used that one. If you haven't seen Mallrats, great movie, highly recommend it. But anyway, so it's down in here, it sucks. So that's gonna be hard to get to. First thing I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna disconnect, I'm gonna turn off this breaker here, that's the old breaker. So there's a little bus right here where the solar panels come in and connect. And I'm going to disconnect that so there's no power going anywhere so we don't shock anybody. So at first glance, you might think the bigger one is the new one, right? It's bigger, it's more amperage. No, actually, the smaller one is the 60 amp, this is the old one. It's got like dip switches where you can control the voltage and everything. So I'm just gonna go verify that the dip switches are all the same and mean the same things. And then I'm just gonna line them up the same way. And then I'll just reconnect everything, we should be good to go. All right, so I've got it all reconnected. I haven't attached, connected the circuit breaker yet, but pro tip, take a picture of the wiring before you disconnect the wiring. It makes it a lot easier to put back. The wiring was slightly different on this one. Everything is labeled the same, just in different places. So hopefully no big sparks happen here when I connect this breaker. Okay, that's a good sign. So here is the control panel here. It should automatically find it. Yep, no problems at all. All right, so I need to make a run to the hardware store to get some connectors for the solar panels, and when I do that, I'll connect the last of the solar panels, and we should be pretty good. One thing I don't think a lot of people think about when they're out cruising is, you know, fuel and propane and all that, because, you know, you do all your cooking with propane. You're seeing newer boats get away from propane cooking just because it is kind of dangerous, because if you get a propane leak in your boat, because propane is heavier than air, right, normal air. So if you get a propane leak in your boat, it all goes down to the builds up there until, you know, spark one day and boom. You hear about these boats exploding and that happening. So that's why you should always store your propane externally. So we have these lockers back here where we store the propane in here. So this is our propane locker. You know, we got 4 tanks. So whenever we're down to just one left, we get them filled. And so that's what we are gonna go do today, is fill it up. And the closest place to get propane is actually on the other side of the bay. Be about 2 miles over there, and we don't have a car, so we're gonna ding. Hopefully we stay dry on this one, it should be all right. Probably a bad place to be during Hurricane Irma, I believe. Man, look at all this graveyard. All the way back in there, there's a bunch of boats. paid here is about $35. Fill our 3 tanks. We had 1 5 and 2 10s. You know, so it's really not too bad. And we hadn't filled up since like what, early February or something.
Since the Bahamas. So.
Yeah.
The propane's really efficient.
Yeah, it does well. So now we take him over here and he'll fill our tanks. So we just show him the receipt and we're good to go. And you know, each one lasts about 3 weeks or more. Simple enough. Let's get back in the boat. Well, we're definitely adding a lot of equipment right now. The newest piece of equipment we are adding is this Iridium Go. So Iridium is basically satellite, right? So this is a little receiver unit, this thing right here. That's all it is. Basically, you mount this, there's an external antenna in here, and I will show you when we mount that. I'm gonna basically mount it up the mizzen mast. We have a little antenna rack. So I'm gonna mount that there and then run a cable down to this unit, which will live over by the galley in a little electronics cupboard. And what we're gonna do with that is this Iridium, basically it will track us. We have satellite phone through an app on your phone. Used to, you needed this old big setup. So this boat actually came with it. We couldn't get this working. This is the old school Iridium, and it's got a mount here, and you take it up there, and it's got another antenna over that way. We couldn't get it working when I started getting the boat ready, so I just didn't even bother with it. So upgraded this to this Iridium Go, and it uses the app on your phone. You get, it's about $140 a month for the unlimited package. There are cheaper packages, but like I think the cheapest package is like $50 or $70 a month, and that gives you 5 minutes of talk time and like no data. So that's for, just get the unlimited. I don't know why you would do anything else. That gives you unlimited texting, unlimited data, but the data is very slow. It's like 18 kilobytes per minute. So if you, a 1 megabyte download or upload would be about 50 minutes, 50 minutes for 1 megabyte, right? So that's like 1 picture. So it's slow, but you can download grid files for your weather and all that. And you got all these mounts that come with the kit. You got the case. This is the antenna itself. We'll put this up on the antenna rack that I have, and then of course the cable to run up there. I think it's about 20 meters. It should be okay. Maybe not 20 meters, but hopefully it's long enough to get up to the top where we need it to go. What's going on?
So, just make sure I'm not gonna kick anything. I gotta go like this, and then you go like that, and then grab on tight, and we did it! Good job.
Overflow.